Hey, Josh Ochs here. I want to show you how we post blogs here at Media Leaders. This is going to be a little workshop for you. Probably not the shortest video we've ever produced, but it's going to be pretty detailed. So, first of all, our team writes our blog posts separately in a separate document over here, as you can see. And we've got the blog title, and we've got keywords that we want to use, the date that it's approved and scheduled, and we have a whole blogging system set up. But the contributor, there's three hats that people wear in blogging to separate it so that people don't freak out. And the contributor writes the darn stuff, and this is what the contributor writes. And then it goes and it goes to the blog manager, or the content manager, if you will, which then reviews it, sends it back to the contributor and says, hey, make some changes, do this. In this case, we have a contributor and a blog manager, which then submits it to a chief editorial person. And I really wear all of the hats. Eventually we don't, but there are some contributors that do this eventually. But right now I wear a lot of the hats, so I'm actually changing some things up, and then I drag and drop it in. So let me show you how I do that. Now, you can go up to New if you're logged into WordPress, New, and go to Post up at the top, and you can create a new post. Our front of our website, because we're so dynamic, is just a bunch of posts. Our events, our conferences, all this stuff is just a bunch of posts. So we're going to create a new one that looks kind of like this: 5 social media safety tips for job seekers. And we're going to spice it up. So what I've done is created a new post, and I've dragged in my title up on top up here, very easy in WordPress: social media for human resources departments. And I could probably even change, and I want to do a little bit of testing. I did a little bit of testing, and I have a whole nother video on how to use keywords, the Google keyword tool. I typed in human resources departments and HR departments, and it told me that there's low competition, but you only get 6,000 monthly searches. Wouldn't it be better if we had low competition and 301,000? So if I just take off the S at the end for that, we'll be a lot better off. So I'll probably change the title to "For Your Human Resources Department." So let's go change that. Social media for your let's see, yeah, for your human resources department. Social media tips. Let's actually go right back. We're writing this together. This is exciting. So I've spiced it up a little bit. 5 social media policy tips for your human resources department. Now the key here is that we get these, this isn't a keyword video, but that you get your title fixed up, your permalink fixed up, you click in here. So we're going to put social media policy tips for your human resources department in there. We don't want it too long, but I'm probably going to remove the word for and your. Boom, and then click OK. That changes the URL. You want the same keywords up there as you do URL. We're going to put social media policy because that was actually a good keyword. Our focus keyword, I have a plugin called WordPress SEO by Yoast. You should all have this. It's very important. You put in your focus keyword that you basically did some research on in Google Analytics, Google keyword tool. And you'll see a few green and red things down here. I'll explain that to you in just a sec. So let's do this: 5 social media, Control C. Let's put this down here. This is the SEO title, how it appears in Google. Do you see how that shows up there? Now 5, let's do this: social media policy. We've got 5 characters left. 5 social media policy tips for your human resources department. I think that's really great. We could also add the word media leaders on the end. I don't think we need to because I think it auto adds it technically. And then meta description, eventually we'll do that. Now you notice how it says the article heading is green. Yes, you have the keywords found in there. The page title, yes. Page URL, yes. Content, yes. Great. So we've done a really good job. Social media policy is really important for search to get the right people. And human resources department is great too. Then we have it all in here. So what we'll probably do is include this also in here. Social media platforms have quickly created liability and PR risk for human resource for all human resources departments or something like that. It's tough because there's 2 S's, but the goal is that we have here, let's do this. I want to take this meta description and kind of repeat it. Here are 5 social media policy tips for your human resources department to keep your brand out of hot water. I could probably lowercase this just a little bit and so on. Let me do that. Okay, so we fixed that. And then we've also got the excerpt as well. Control C. I usually put that in there as well so we don't see the more button. And we're pretty much good to go there. So what we've done, let's just review. And I want to show you the technique. I dragged and dropped this into the textual area. So you've got visual mode up here, which most people flock to first, but I want to tell you not to go there. When you drag and drop from a Google Doc or anything, it actually puts a lot of weird code in here. It does a lot of weird stuff when you look at the textual side. It'll put some weird code at the beginning and the end, and it ends up making it really difficult. So this is a little bit of motivation for you. I want you to get used to the textual side of things and then only go to visual when you have to. And that's because if you put in a few things here on the visual mode and then you go, if you go to visual mode and you move over to text and back to visual, it just does some weird things. So I want you to start in text mode, drag and drop. Let me show you a couple little tricks. If you're in visual mode and it says, here are a few social media human resources department tips you can follow. How about we say, and I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll probably put 4 in the long run. And then, so what I want to do is make this into a bullet. I want to do a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Here's a technique on how to do that. You highlight your first bullet. Don't put any bullets in it. You click the little LI button. LI is list item because we're creating items that are listed. Click LI. It puts an LI at the beginning and LI at the end. Delete the bullet that was created by our contributor, and then click LI again. I'll show you how this is going to add up. And then click LI again. You highlight it. Click that little LI. And then when creating your policy, ask these questions. Let's create. So we have 3 tips. Let's just pretend like these are the 3 tips that we want. You highlight all the LIs. Watch this. Then you click either unordered list or ordered list. So UL is unordered and OL is ordered list. If I want a 1, 2, and a 3, I click ordered list. I click save draft. Now that the draft is saved, what I'm going to do is click the preview button in the upper right. This is draft is saved. I haven't published it. I don't want it to go on the front page. Preview opens a new window, a new tab, and shows it to us. You have to be logged into preview if it's not published. So you can't send a preview to a friend if they're not logged in on the back end. So we don't have an image yet up in the upper right. We'll add that in a minute. But look how we've done this here. Here are a few social media tips for human resources departments. So I'll probably change this up. This was awkward. It was based on our past stuff. 1, 2, 3. I might change this up a little bit more, actually. So I like to highlight and make things clear. So write out a clear social media safety policy. Let's bold that and make it strong. And then let's press enter as well. Next, let's create a small training program around your policy. Let's bold that, and I'll show you a little trick. And then let's do this. Keep it light, bright, and polite. Let's bold that as well. And then the for example. Now here's a little trick. I've put enter on all these. The strong will help you create the code that you need to make it bulleted. But what I also like to do is put in an H3 or an H2 here. So let's do an I think this is an H3, which is heading 3, and we have a whole different way to show you. I've got other videos that explain, Josh, what is an H3? This is heading 3. It makes the text larger, and I'll show you what's going to be the heading 2. So heading 1 is the subject line up here. Google sees the heading 1 as this is the topic. Heading 2 is going to be a clear social media. Here are a few social media things. This is a H2. Once again, I'm just replacing the strong with an H2 so that it actually makes it larger, and it tells Google not only are we making it larger, but this is what you should see as the subheading. This is the title. This isn't an SEO video, but this is the title. This is the subheading. Here are a few social media for human resources department tips. We'll change that. Here are 5 social media policy tips for your human resources department. Here are 5, and all lowercase these. And then I'm going to add so now we've got it all lowercase, we're set. We've got an H2, these are H3. You always make them smaller as you go down. Then the next one, we can make it H2 as well. when creating your policy, ask yourself these questions. Once again, I only click the strong because it creates just a clean version of that, and then inside the strong I create an H2 again. Because I'm not a programmer, sometimes I forget how to make these things, so I like to figure out little tiny hacks to figure out how to have other people do this. So here's some great questions people can ask, and I am going to delete all the bullets first. We're going to do this again. We're doing this in textual mode in the text tab once again. I feel like a TV show. If you just joined us, this is what we're doing. I'm going to create LI. All of them are LI list items, and then you decide at the end if you wanted to make an ordered list or an unordered list. So LI, LI, LI. You can do them in reverse order, forward order, it doesn't matter. And then we highlight them all. Do we want to make this a list order or another one? I think we create this as an unordered list, because I don't want an ordered list and an ordered list. Do you want to ban social media use at work? And then we will bold this. Do you want employees to associate with your business online? Bold it. And I always like to put this on the next thing. How would you define mature, appropriate behavior? Bold that. Great. Enter. And then how does your social media fit with other corporate policies? Bold that. Enter. And we've got everything pretty much done. I always ask a question at the end of my blogging. Crafting a social media policy for your human resources department can be tricky. However, a well thought out policy may serve as additional protection. What is your social media policy at your company? Let us know in the comments below. I like to create that. Gets people to do something different. I'm also going to do one more thing. We're going to head over to YouTube. So here's our YouTube page. I always like to put a YouTube video in there because people like to read and watch. Here's 3 words to be safe and effective on social media. And it's going to start auto playing. I don't want that. What I do want is to drop this in there. And here's a little trick. Click the share button below the video. And I want to share this, Control-C. I don't want it to start at certain things. So I click Control-C, the YouTube link. I'm going to go drop this in here. And I want to, when creating, ask yourself these questions. I'm going to drop it right here in the middle. And all you do is you put the link in there. Josh, why would you just put the link? Why wouldn't you click share and click embed and put your embed code? Well, it turns out if you share it in WordPress, most of the time it auto creates the width. So if you're on a mobile device, it knows that YouTube video should be embedded. It takes that, auto embeds it, makes it the exact width of the mobile device or the exact width of the maximum of the desktop. It's beautiful. So you just add that in there. That's kind of a cool little trick, right? And then Control-C, Control-V. Here are three words to keep your employees safe and effective on social media. Great. And then it embeds that, and then when creating your policy and so on. I might put that actually down at the bottom. Might put the video down because I've promoted that before and people are really here to ask the good questions. So let's do that. All right, I think we're pretty much ready. I love it. We're going to go ahead and pause it and say, okay, so it used to look like this with 1, 2, 3, 4, very mechanical, right? But we've broken it up by using H1s, H2s, and H3s. So the H1, the header 1, once again, is up here up top. It auto deploys that. Cool. And then the H2, it's kind of boring still. We're going to put an image up here. But here's an H2. Here are 5 social media policy tips. See how much bigger it is? And then look how 1 is. It looks nice. Write out a clear social media safety policy. 2, create a small training program around your policy. 3, keep your policy light, bright, and polite. What I'll probably do is I'm going to change this. Remind all of your employees to live a life that is light, bright, and polite. In fact, let me do that. All right, I just updated it and changed that one bullet. We're going to refresh here right now and take a look at it real quick. And here's what we have. Remind your employees, and then I put a link to one of our other pages, light, bright, and polite. It goes to my book because I want people to read this to go, wait, what? And then when creating your policy, ask yourself these questions. This could actually be a number 4, and I could put sub bullets below it. Perhaps that might work as well. But I think you get the idea. It's 1, 2, 3. I might even change, instead of 5 social media policy tips, I'll just change it to 3. 3 social media policy tips for your human resources. Write out a clear policy. Cool. And then look at the video at the bottom. Remember how I was talking about this? Here's 3 words to keep your employees safe and effective. The reason you embed that there on WordPress is it usually, and in this case it doesn't, but it usually will auto change the width, and I may have to refresh it. It also might not work exactly the same when you're previewing it in WordPress, but usually it'll make it exactly the right width. There you go. See that? How cool is that? So then it's always mobile friendly. Now, it's getting bigger too. Nice. So there you go. That's why you embed this darn thing. And we're going to do one more thing. We're going to head over to Photodunenet. Photodunenet, because we need a picture and we're going to go buy one. So I'm going to go find some. I'm going to pause the video. Be right back. So here we are at Photodunenet, and I've typed in the word texting up in the upper right, and you guys can go to this and buy his stuff. It's pretty cool. I'll show you why. And when I landed on the first page, it was kind of cool. I don't like to use overly professional photos because I think they look really mechanical. For instance, white backgrounds and people in business suits, really boring for our target market. But I'll tell you what isn't boring. This one looks really cool. It looks like we actually took it, because it's a fun background and it's a person in casual clothing. This one looks great. I actually really like that one because it shows the iPhone 5 or considerable. And then I found another one on this page as well. This one's great. I think I want to use this one. Go back here, and I want to buy this one that was right here. The reason I like this one is because it's horizontal. I like horizontal images that are more square than horizontal or tall, but if you have to, go the horizontal. I'm going to buy the $1 extra small, click purchase. I'm already logged in. I've got $83 on here. You can buy with your prepaid credit. Great. Download. Awesome. I've got a ton of different things here, so let's go ahead and download that, the extra small version. I've already purchased it. Great. Here's what I do. I show it in the folder, and it opens it up. There it is. Control X. I take it out of there, and I put it in the Dropbox under Media Leaders blogging content. I throw it in there, and I type in woman, and then I put in part of the keywords from the. Let's do this instead of the word woman. Let's go grab part of the keywords, social media policy tips for your human resources department. Sometimes I'll do that. Or social media policy. Here we go, Control C. And that way, when it's Google sees it as everything is on social media policy woman texting. Okay? And that way, we can search for it in the future, woman texting and social media policy. Google sees it. Awesome. So let's go over here and jump into the edit the post. I am going to take this and go down here to the right. You'll see the featured image. This is what's going to pop up in Google on the Google results to the left of it. Set featured image. Let's go ahead and upload the files. I'm going to grab this from the others. I've got dual screens. So let's go find that woman's social media policy, and you just drag it in here. It uploads. So rather than it saying title of text messaging, I put social media policy, woman texting, and I don't want young beautiful woman text messaging. That when you buy it, that's what happens. And then another thing I do is here's a little hidden trick. Eventually, put a caption in there whenever you can. We don't have to for this one, but I'll show you why. We'll do it in a minute. So let's set the featured image. Great. And then what happens is it'll pop in here. Awesome. So when we save it as a draft, that'll be great. Next thing we're going to do is we don't have it auto set up. What we just set up puts that image on the front page, and that becomes the default image for the front page. But when you click on it here, it won't auto deploy it here, as you notice if we refresh, because I've turned that off because I like to do different stuff on each page and have more freedom. So we are going to go in the upper left, and we're going to insert an image but set it to deploy to the far right. Josh, how are you going to do that? Great question. First, we grab the bottom, the text of it. You may have heard, here are 5, write out a clear social media statement. Remind employees to live a life online that is light, bright, and polite. Let's go ahead and go down to that one. That'll be our remind your employees light, bright, and polite. let's go. Okay, so we're going to copy that. We're going to go up to the far left up here, press enter once, and we're going to add media. This big button right here, add media. Here's our media library that will slowly download. Boom. Click on the image you want. We've already uploaded it. We'll reuse that same thing. We'll go over to caption. Boom. We've already got that in there now. Remind your employees to live an online life. Alignment is going to be right because we want it to sit on the right-hand side of the page. Link to, I don't think we need a link. None. Perfect. Size, we don't want a full size. I like to keep them medium. 300 by 199, and we insert it into the post. Watch this. Boom, it inserted. You had to wait a minute. And then it's got a caption. All this junk is what we just inserted. And then your thing starts. Social media platforms, need an example, harmless, not so much. Let's go ahead and save the draft and come back. This is what it looked like before. Now we're going to see, as I refresh, we're going to see a big image up here in the upper right. Because it's set to far right, we've got the image uploaded. Perfect. Remind your employees to live an online life that is light, bright, and polite. Great. Social media platforms have quickly created. Now you can start reading this. I might spice it up just a little bit more by putting some bold in here, something fun. We've got a lot of the tips below the fold, but I think you get the idea. So now if we were to preview this on the front page, look how our SEO is green. That's great because we've done some keyword research. We did it right. And then we have a question at the bottom that says, what is your social media policy at your company? Let us know in the comments below. And comments are closed because it's in preview mode. But this is great. So we've done, let's review what we've looked at. We created our subject line. We dragged and dropped in our body in the textual mode. We created list items that Google loves to read. We created an H2. H1 is auto-deployed at the top. And we also linked a couple little things in here, which is awesome, linking out. And then we embedded a YouTube video that's auto-deployed on the correct width. And it's pretty awesome. So there we go. That's how we blog here at Media Leaders. I'm sure there's a couple extra little tips we could probably use. In fact, here's what I'll do. The status is currently draft. We could put it pending review. We won't get into that right now. Visibility is public. You could also make this password protected or private, or stick it up to the top of the page. I do this with a lot of events that we post, and they'll be up there for a month, and then I stick them so that they'll actually, and this one's sticky, it sticks to the top of the page. We actually deployed it a month ago, but I want people to attend this event. I'll unstick it today, and it'll go back down to a month ago, which sits probably down here. And this one we probably won't stick it because it's a blog post. It's designed to be temporary. Next, you can publish it immediately, or I could schedule it for deployment for tomorrow at a certain time. Click OK. And you can, and then I could publish it or schedule. If I pick tomorrow, watch this button, it goes from publish to schedule. See that? So I'm going to publish it today on our own, and you'll see it on the front page, and it'll click OK. In fact, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to go publish it right now. Actually, before we do that, check this out. Let's go look at our categories. Sometimes I forget things. Let's undo events. That's the default one. Let's put it on blog, because this is a blog. And let's look at training. Sometimes I have a training project here. Webinars, nope. Panel discussion, next events. Pick the right category, so when people click on the categories, it always works. Tags, I'm going to put HR departments. In fact, social media policy, Control C. Let's put that as a tag as well. Sometimes I just put the tools that we use, but for right now, that's pretty sufficient. And I think we're all set. I don't think there's anything else that we need. You could set this post to be full width, but I want it default so that there's a column on the right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and publish it and see what happens. We're going to click the big publish button now and come back and check the front page. It'll take just a moment to publish. You always wait. I'm logged in because you see the bar at the top, which is great. And once it's published, now it's not going to appear up top. It'll probably appear down here because I've got a lot of other things that are stuck to the top. And the sticky ones end up overriding the non-sticky ones. So it didn't appear up top, but it does appear, it eventually will appear down here. Now I have one more trick. Because I have caching engaged, I have to go to my WP Super Cache, open it in a new window, and delete the cache. Those of you that have caching, you want to make sure that you are able to delete your cache sometimes the front page, it caches so that it doesn't have to reload a whole lot of stuff, and we'll do that one more time. So here we are. Let's scroll down. I've got all these on sticky mode. Here's 5 social media policy tips for your human resources department. I'm going to click on it and open it in an incognito window. Why would you do that, Josh? Well, because I want to use some private browsing techniques to see how other people see it. I might move this up one line. I might do a little bit more to it, but it really is pretty much ready. I like other people to review it before I deploy them, but it was written by somebody else, and it's pretty easy. I might also plug my book at the bottom. Say go buy this book if you want to learn about how we keep it safe and effective. But there you go, my friends. That's what it looks like. We've cleared the cache, so it should show up on the front page. And we'll do one more thing. Stay with me for one more minute. We're going to go over here and unsticky these. So let's go over to the Uber. We'll open it in a new window. This one will open it in a new window, and this one will open it in a new window. We're going to take each one of these and turn them off of sticky mode. So we'll click Edit, Sticky, OK. We turn Sticky off, Update. Do the same thing, Edit, turn Sticky off, OK, Update. And we'll do this as well, Edit, turn Sticky off, Update, Update. Then we're going to go back to the caching mode once these have finished. Click Delete Cache right here in a second. And then we are going to go to the front page and go take a look at how this looks. And we should have the blog post right here. So people will enjoy this, view pictures from our Westside Mixer, and then they will see the blog post right up here on top. And there we go. View pictures, 5 social media policy tips. And see how we created the excerpt, which is a little bit smaller. You see how this one has a ... more down here at the end? It's a little bit of a long excerpt, but it's okay. This is a short one. Here are 5 social media policy tips for your human resources department. Cool. When you click on it, it takes you to the page. But see how real that image looks? It almost looks like we took it in the office. There's blurriness. It doesn't look perfect. She's not in a business suit. I think those business suit ones get so overrated. Another thing that's way overrated that I was looking at earlier, just a little tip for you. If you put texting or you're searching for something, don't use images like this that are so corporate, like that's kind of fun because it's graphical, but stuff like this it's just so online. People, I feel, and this is my personal opinion, and I'm giving you some advice, that these feel like they're so mechanical and fake that they don't feel right. So be careful when you're using stuff that's all social media buzzwords and such. All right, just to review, to wrap it up, because I know you've had enough of this, you've really learned how to blog on WordPress, how to post a new post successfully. We did a little bit of keyword research. We wrote out our whole message based around and created some some lists. We created this as an H2 because Google needs to see as this is the subject line, 5 social media policy tips. This is the sub line, and this is the H3, right out of Clear Social Media Safety Policy. This is a lot more visually stimulating, so people can go 1, 2, 3, easy, love it. And then we put a video in it to make it stimulating, and then Google SEO loves that. They see that the Media Leaders video is embedded in the Media Leaders page, and it talks about social media safety. Great. It really does some algorithmic connections there that are fun. We asked a question at the end, which is very important. We updated an image that not only appears at the front as the default image, the thumbnail, but also appears somewhere in here. People love captions, so always give a caption there. You can even make it larger and bold or if you want, but this is very simple, very easy, very fun, and there you go. That's blogging on WordPress. My name is Josh Ochs. Like this video if you like it. Ask any questions you want. Go to MediaLeaders.com to learn more, and I hope that you'll go to MediaLeaders.com, join our list in the upper right, and then also follow us on Google+, and last, buy my book if you've enjoyed this. Josh Ochs, have a great day. Keep it light, bright, and polite.